Alrighty, welcome to another episode of NOVAtazz's Automotive Podcast, Season 4, Episode 6. It's going to be a short one. I have not had a very good week. Been sick most of the week. And I also lost our fur friend that we just picked up. So, Sylvia passed away on Wednesday, February 9th. Due to several complications, mainly she was anemic, something about she only had 15% of the blood cells, red blood cells. I think you're supposed to be at like 30 something or whatever, and she was down at 15. And at 20, you're supposed to need a blood transfusion. But yeah, so we had to put our Sylvia down. We only had her for 3 months. It's better than her dying in a pound, but it still sucked. It kicked me in the gut. But I've also...
At least, though, Sylvia, from everything I saw, had an absolutely wonderful home, and she was very happy for that.
She was happy all the way up to her last minute.
Yeah, so, it is really sad to lose any pet whatsoever, because the one thing that people don't, like, there's people out there that don't realize, pets aren't pets. They're family.
Depends
like
on how
have,
it depends on how you've been upraised and how you view them. But in I'm guessing your family, my family, pets are family.
oh yeah, and the one thing is, like, because hell, I have a sleeping kitten on my lap right now. The thing is, like, with my cats, they follow me everywhere in the house. They console me when I'm actually, like, upset or sick or anything like that. And, they become family like that. And that's most of the animals that we've ever had do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, some of the animals, like the rabbits and hamsters and stuff like that we had, didn't really do that, but they're not as intelligent as, these fur babies.
I don't know. I still consider, like, we have rabbits and snakes, and I've had rabbits. Jess has had rabbits. Her rabbit was her baby. She had a large Rex, tricolor Rex. That was her fur baby. She ended up having to give it up when she moved out of the house she was at before us. We have snakes, a lot of snakes now. I think it was 11. I think we have now. Fish. I lost a fish moving here that I had forever. I had it, I would say I've had that fish almost as long as my oldest kid. And it passed away moving here. But, fish are always temperamental when you move them.
Yeah, like, I was amazed, actually, because my dad had a Plecostomus for years. This Plecostomus was 30 years old and got moved around a lot, and for some reason just kept surviving. Like, it finally died a few years ago, but it's just like, yeah, he had the thing for 30 years.
Yeah, but
I
also...
That's impressive.
Yeah, but I got sick Monday night. And my work basically told me, and I didn't realize that this work did this, but my work's basically like, I called off, and they called me back the next day, and they're like, we need you to take a COVID test or whatever, because I had a fever. And they're like, yep, we need you to quarantine for 5 days. And I'm like, okay, it's paid, right? And they're like, no. So I lost, and you gotta consider that it's 10-hour shifts. So I lost 3 days of work right off the bat. No pay. So that's 30 hours.
Yeah.
So
it adds up pretty quick.
Yeah, my next paycheck's going to be a 10-hour paycheck. So, and then of course, like I said, then we lost Sylvia. So there will be no more Sylvia bumping into me or curling up at my feet while doing the live streams. Um, and then I got sick again Thursday night, and I've been dealing with fever and chills again. I felt better this morning. But yeah, no, it's taking the shit out of me. And I've taken COVID tests. They all come back negative. So
Now, have you been, because some of the accuracy of some of the tests can be a little off, but have you been taking PCR tests or the rapid
it's the
tests?
one where they give you a stick through the drive-through. You rub it up in your nose on both sides, and you snap the stick off into the tube, and you screw it in. You give it back to them, and then they send it out. And 2 days, the day or 2 days later, they send you back the results. So
Okay, that's a PCR test then,
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I know that there's a rapid test or whatever. I've never taken one of those.
I
Um,
have, and mine came back inconclusive when I had it. So.
yeah, my work doesn't. I know my work doesn't recognize those. And my old work being in the healthcare field, those weren't recognized either there. So I
Okay,
know
well,
those don't hold up for most of the jobs that I know of around here. So you just and the ones at the Rite Aid are free anyway.
yeah.
So
Oh, like just the rapid test. The one thing is they can come back as false positive. Actually, it happens quite often.
yeah,
Um, so that's why they don't recognize them and as much because like it gives you for the most part though they're around probably 85% ish effect like to tell you, but it gives you a base idea of like okay, if you take a rapid test and if it comes back where it might be, go get a PCR test, make
yeah.
sure,
But
right?
the other thing is I mean I don't know. This is my personal opinion. I was not a doctor, but anything that can't give me like if it's like a pregnancy test. If a pregnancy test can come back as a false negative or a false positive, then how reliable is it? Because then I can think that I'm negative and not bother going to go get the freaking real test
That's
when
true.
and so I'm it doesn't see to me it doesn't make any sense. Just it takes me well, I don't even really do it. I just say, "Hey Jess, get me an appointment to get a COVID test," and she does the beep boop boop thing on her phone, and next thing she knows, okay, you'll have an appointment at such and such a time. You know, make sure you bring your photo ID and da 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 da. I get in the car, I go down there, swab my nose, and that's that. You know, and then I wait for
Yeah.
the results. But yeah, hi pilot, hi Biggie. Sorry for the dreary start to the live stream. I will not be on here very long. We're only staying till 10 tonight. Like I said, still recovering from being sick, so I don't have a whole crap ton of energy, and I'd like to get some sleep tonight. Considering I got to pretend to be AO tip top shape on Monday to go back to work, because I can't afford to be missing any more days. So,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, that's totally understandable. I mean, like, 'cause, I mean, I was only gonna be here for an hour today, anyways, so it
mhm.
works out for me. Um,
Yeah, I got to put out applications for freaking for new co-hosts. Again, nothing against you, Kat, because you're a great co-host and you're here all the time. But we need more people.
yeah, no,
We
yeah,
used to have a whole argument of freaking. I mean, we used to argue. We used to have like 4 or 5 people up here, and because we all had different opinions, we'd end up in a full-on freaking discussion up here. Well, I
I
need to
remember.
switch us back
Yeah,
and forth because now I tend to be looking in the other direction. Yeah, I guess that's better. I don't know. Um,
that's fine.
but yeah, no, it's we gotta liven this show up again.
Oh, faux show. Like, it's nice when I know, and I understand with Joseph too. He just got his license a couple weeks ago and stuff like that, so he's probably out enjoying
Well,
himself.
and yeah,
I
it's
get that.
why I had to used to have a whole bunch, so I didn't have to really, not everybody had to be here every week. If you go look at my old shows, not everybody was here every week.
Yeah. Oh,
they'd
yeah.
round robin. There'd be one day that this person wasn't, one week this person wasn't here, another week that person wasn't here. It was
Well,
never.
it's not like I've been here every week
Oh
either. Like I'm
no,
here most weeks.
the
Yeah,
only person that's ever
but
here
not.
every week is me, or otherwise we don't have a show. Though I did think about contacting you and a few of the other ones to see if I at least just started the show, maybe not even been on screen, just did all of this stuff and just let you guys go. Because I felt crappy and I didn't want to sit here and have another missed show this week. That's where my head was at on Friday. I was like, my God, I'm not gonna make it to the live show this weekend. I wonder if maybe Kat or a few of the other ones will like spearhead the freaking podcast this week, as long as I run all of the computer crap.
Yeah, see, and I would be, if that was the case, I'd be open to doing that.
Yeah.
And not a big deal because like even if it's only me here, well, let's be honest, the live streams on my channel, it's only me. I've never had a guest,
You can steal a
so
show all on your own.
I've done it. I did one all by myself for over 6 hours. It's great.
You've done many all by yourself. I don't want to hear it. I can't hold a freaking live stream by myself. I just get I
It's
run
been
out of
getting
things to
harder.
talk about.
I will admit it's been getting harder because of
Not having
like
anything
it.
new.
Yeah, yeah. There's that because like it would in the summertime it was nice because I was going out all the time,
Stuff to
every
talk
week,
about.
going to car shows, going to car meets, whatever else, traveling.
Yeah, it's been pretty
Not right
stagnant
now.
here. Yeah, it's been pretty stagnant here for a while because except for the most exciting thing that we've done recently was was bringing Jean Grey home as far as positive excitement. Um
Yeah,
Pilot, Pilot, it's
hang
your
on, pilot.
ex-wife.
No, hang on, pilot. I got it. It's right here. That's what's in there.
Oh, and I know you didn't give me time to censor that.
Sorry.
I was gonna tell him it's his ex-wife.
Oh, there you go. It's not like we have a cuss and stuff like that on
Tumble
this
dried and
podcast. But
pressed.
yeah. Well, it. Hey, we're past the watershed, so yeah, we're fine.
I gotta get you a NOVAtazz flag to put over top of that freaking dryer. I have one. It's right here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have shit to send me, so there's that.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sending you that. That was expensive.
Yeah.
That's going up in the garage as soon as I ever get a chance to be able to do anything with it. Between,
See,
go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say like it'd be kind of cool actually to set up a like a banner like get one made for myself, which I know some everything on upholstery machines. So I can get one made really cheap, to be honest.
You can make one
Um,
really cheap by using Teespring, and I'm sure there's other
yeah,
companies that do that too. So
I know, but I have people. So
you have
the
people.
only the only thing I don't have is somebody to make like my logo into a decal. Because the one thing is, even though I love the script that I have for the logo, I don't want to change that. But a lot of decal machines have issues trying to do that.
Well, it depends.
So
Depends on whether or not it views it as a letter, or if it views it as an image. If it's viewing
well,
it
it's just
as an
it.
image, then it should be fine.
Well, yeah, most of them though it has issues with how fine some of the stuff is. Because as well, like the script on my
Oh, you're
logo.
talking about shrinking it.
Yeah, well, it's just into decals. Like it's not even shrinking it really, because the thing is, you could make that image whatever size you want, because it's not like it's a giant image. It's not. Um, and the thing is, like, well, I look at not that you can see it really from there, but like this one's not so bad because this is actually my buddy Turlo from Turlo's Garage sticker. Now the thing is, he's got nice separated letters that are not
Part of
uh
part of logo design is thinking ahead and realizing whether or not something's going to be good in all sizes and formats. It's the same
yeah.
thing with my logo. As you see, mine is nice and thick lettered and walled for the same reason. So that way, even if I shrink it down small, you don't start getting like the lines don't start meshing together. But
Yeah.
yeah, I do like yours. Yours is delicate, but sometimes delicate can lead to
Oh yeah,
issues that you
I
have.
just need to find somebody with the proper machine that can do it. That's all. Like, and it'll just take time, and it has been taking time because I've been looking. Because I want to order like a batch of like 10 or 20, and
What
have a
did
couple
you
of my cars, send them out to other people.
did you think
Okay.
about having somebody thicken up your image?
See, I don't want that. That's the problem. Like, you thicken it, and it just doesn't look as good, right? Like, it has a nice look to it. Like, I'll find somebody with a proper machine.
Yeah,
I might have to contact like a proper company to do it, but it's fine.
yeah.
You know.
Pilot says that would be fine with him if we dried and pressed his ex. Now, be
Hey,
nice.
well, I can put a buddy. Buddy.
Does that make that Nova more rapid? That is a
That's not a
Nova, right?
Nova out
That's a
there, brother.
what is it? I can't see. It's so small.
It's a Firebird.
Oh,
It's actually a Trans Am technically, but it's the wrong
so
coloring,
so
obviously.
it's so it no. So what is it? 69.
Yeah,
Okay. So it's the first gen.
yeah. This is my favorite year by far. Like people love their 77s and early 70s, whatever else, but 69 is just.
Yeah.
I think they just nailed the styling.
First
100%.
gen for the Trans Am, not first year for the Firebird.
No, I know that, but like I'm just saying, first, like 69 Firebird in general is my favorite year. Doesn't have to be Trans Am because I mean, and let's be honest, this is a Trans Am. I mean, yes, the hood falls off. But the one thing is, and I don't know why this is the proper colors. Like, and I've seen this model more than once because I had another one and I ended up selling it because this one I've just had forever. Like, the wheels have like negative camber from when I was young and pressing
Probably
down on them too hard.
it probably might have something to do with licensing
Well,
or
there's a good chance. Like, because it's supposed to be white on blue. They were all white on blue. So
and they only made like a couple hundred of them, if that. No, they only
yeah,
made. How many did they make? I don't know that number, not off the top of my head. It was a very few. But that's like this model kit I have over here of the 79. It was originally released as a Blackbird because they didn't
really?
have the license to use Pontiac or Firebird. It did not come with any of the official decals when it was first released. It wasn't until the mid 80s when they got the licensing, and I think that's why the back tail lights and stuff like that are wrong on it, because they couldn't use the accurate tail lights. Again, copyright reasons. But yeah, so when it was first released, it didn't have any of the actual Trans Am logos or the real bird. It did have a bird on the hood, but it was their artistic version of the bird.
That's fair. Um, and like, I understand that wholeheartedly. Yeah, and actually, I looked it up. It was 697.
I was gonna say 500, but I thought 500 was high, but apparently it was not.
Yeah, I was thinking 600, so 697. There you go. And of those 697, only 8 were convertibles.
Yeah, and apparently YouTube sucks right now. Uh, First month in I don't know how long that I probably will not reach my goal to get money for the end of the month.
See, the thing is, and I know why, like, because January is always a tough month
It
for
is. It is
a lot of
always.
people.
Normally,
Um,
normally my heater core video keeps me up above, but it's just flirting with it. Literally just flirting with that number.
Well, see, if I get lucky enough, because by the end of the month, it depends, because there's a few videos that I have planned to film. If I get lucky enough, I might hit my threshold again, which would be surprising if I do, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's either going to hit it or just barely be under the cusp.
Currently, as
Um,
of right now, it's saying I'm hitting it. Yesterday, it said I was like $7 or $8 below it. So
there you go.
it
Like right now, I mean, I'm only at like 44, so it's not
for the month or for the last 30
for the
days, 28 days.
that would be 28 days.
Yeah, for
For
the
me.
last 28 days, I'm just above the threshold to get paid out.
There you go. Yeah, because like that's not too bad. It'll take like because the one thing is, and especially as the weather starts to get nicer, which it has been really nice lately. Um, is everybody's gonna bring out their toys again, which makes me able to film their vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps. Like
Yeah.
my buddy just bought a new Mustang, like not brand new. It's a new Edge Mustang, and he took me for a rip today. The thing's fast. I can't wait to do a review on that car. It'll be a lot of fun because it's not stock. It's a what year is that? 2003, I think. Mustang GT with the 4.6 in it, and it's got 410 gears in it with a transmission. Like it's got a tune on the tranny, and it's got a cold air intake on a couple of little things like that. It's oh yeah, the thing rips pretty good. Plus with these massive meats on the back that are 325 wide, it's like nice.
Yeah.
It's got a killer look.
Wonder when Lockheed, the Blackbird and Lockheed, when did that happen? Because this kit was released in '79, so I don't
Oh,
know.
it'd be well before that. The Blackbird came out in like the late 50s.
Yeah, so and that was a plane, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's probably not. It probably has nothing to. They probably don't care about what a car model company named a plastic model.
Yeah, because the one thing is when it comes to trademark, it's only trademark without a certain thing. So
Right.
and yeah, because it's the SR-71 Blackbird, right?
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Predecessor
exactly
to the. My brain's not working today.
nothing succeeded the SR-71 to be honest,
Uh,
because the SR-71, like yeah, the U-2 spy plane kind of replaced it, but not really.
well,
Because
you had the
oh,
Batwing
there you go.
bombers.
Yeah, well, that's not the same thing. The
Same
SR-71 didn't
technology.
have it was a surveillance thing only. It did
Right.
not have any weapons.
Right. It's the same technology. The Batwing bombers took the what they learned from the SR-71 and made the bombers.
Yeah. Well, and the fun thing about the SR-71 actually, because they got shot at a lot with missiles from Russia and stuff like that. And the thing is, they were so fast that they would just outrun the missiles.
See, I like the
It's pretty cool.
B2s.
Like,
Some
yeah,
of,
we do.
I like the the B-71 too, but like I love the B2s. It's just a sick
Yeah.
looking plane.
I mean, it is neat. I've never seen one in person. I don't know if I ever will, just because they don't exist here. And even with like at air shows coming here, they don't come here.
You won't ever see
Like
them.
I've seen a B-52 in person.
Very rarely
But
will you ever see a B2 in person.
yeah, well, I know it's a $2 billion plane.
That and they keep them very well under wraps and they don't come out.
Yeah.
But you know what one of my favorite actual planes are? A-10 Warthog.
Yeah, I can see that.
One of the
them trying to
one of the
replace
nastiest planes.
Oh yeah, they're really cool. Like I love the A10.
Butt ass ugly.
I love the look of it too. I don't care. Like full disclosure.
Exactly,
I love
pilot.
the look of it.
Exactly, pilot.
Yeah.
You do not want to be the enemy on the ground and hearing that noise.
Well, I just remember actually because I follow a guy called Soviet Wobble, and he does these videos. It's just like compilations of funny stuff that they say, whatever. And the one was they were playing Arma 3, and the one dude Cyanide, just like you don't want to mess with me because your gun goes pew pew. Well, my gun goes and he fires off the A10. It's like, because they just had like their M246 saws and stuff like that. M16s, right?
I mean,
You can aim
when
that.
you're throwing down rounds the size of like this, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
you got like freaking 50, 60 of them hitting in a single spot in less than a freaking. It's just like you just
oh, yeah.
have
Well, like
it's a flying chainsaw.
yeah, well, because my dad actually, bear in mind, my dad's actually a pretty big dude. Um, like I've seen an A10 a few times in person, like, and I've actually touched an A10. It's pretty cool. But
I'm so jealous.
he decided, you know what? Because that looks pretty big. Let's see if it'll fit. His thumb actually fits inside the barrel.
Like I said, this freaking fires off rounds that are like yay big around. They're like an inch.
Yeah,
Like
it's a 30 mil cannon. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Um, and yeah,
we used to play. I used to play Ace Combat when I was younger, and I used to always love the missions where it would let you, because a lot of those missions is air to air. I love the missions where you could do the air to ground because I had a warthog that I used to love just taking out ground targets with.
oh yeah, Ace Combat for the longest time was like such an amazing series of games that they
I
did.
played and beat all of them up until Ace Combat 6.
Okay, yeah, because I think they're like they still make them every now and then, but it's not the same. You know, it's
I
just
played the newest one. I
uh,
have it. I just haven't beaten it. I haven't had the time to sit down and play with it. I play with the inverse controls and everything, so
okay, yeah, because yeah, like playing those super fun. Like
I
you know,
use
and I haven't played one of those games in a long time.
well,
But also the one issue is though too, for me getting new games are freaking expensive.
mm-hmm.
So
That's why I
you
have
know,
the Xbox Game Pass. I haven't paid for a new game, and I don't know. I haven't paid for a new game. I think since Forza 7. No, I lie. I
well,
lie. What did we pay for? I paid for City Skylines. I think I paid for. But I played the free version on Xbox Game Pass first, and then I bought the PC version off of Steam because I liked the free one, but the free one was didn't have as many options as the PC version.
that's fair. Um, yeah. I lost my train of thought. Sorry. You can tell I'm tired, but
Okay,
it's
we can
been a
we can
long couple
change
of
the
days.
thought because we were talking about something before we started this live. We'll go back to your channel, and I heard you were having some difficulty this week with your new old acquisition.
Yeah. So what happened was because for those of you that haven't been following along or just are not subscribed to my channel, it's totally fine. I recently acquired. It was actually almost a month ago now at this point. Of my old '86 Mustang convertible named Lilo. I created the motor in that thing. Sold it to a guy. He 302 swapped it. Been having cooling issues since. Are the bane of my existence. So the thing is, the car overheats and it does not get any coolant to the heater port, not one bit. So there is a couple of theories on it, and I've been eliminating one of those theories lately. For the past couple of days, is okay. A blockage in the cooling system from just all the crap that was inside the motor. Because I ran a hose through the motor and got it all clean now. But yeah, doing that. The one thing is, I put the because I took the thermostat out and just shoved the hose right in that hole is what I did. And then after I did that, cleaning out the motor that way, trying to put the thermostat back in. That took a lot longer than it should have, to be honest. Because again, being cooling systems, they just fight each other. And once I got it back in, I put some because before you put coolant in the rad, you should always first, just in case if there's a leak, put it in top of the thermostat housing first. Is what I always do. And it was leaking immediately. I'm just like, oh, that's a sizable leak too. Like, what the hell? So I yell and scream, whatever else, just leave it. Come back today and find out, oh, the bolt actually was starting to like cross thread itself. Is what happened, right? It just wasn't quite locked into the threads properly. So, okay, I pull it out, no big deal. Get the tap and die set out. That all works, tickety boo. And then, you know, fill it all up, and it's just like, hey, cool, no coolant leaks. Awesome. So I fill up the entire cooling system again, take it around the block, and for some reason, it idling in my driveway didn't open the thermostat in like 20 minutes of it idling, so it shocked me. But anyways, I take it around the block, the thing's running really hot, just like, oh man. So, okay. I pull it back to the house, let it cool off for an hour, go back out there with more coolant, fill up the rad again, and take it out again after that, and I get either an air bubble or a massive just bunch of crap dumping out of the motor potentially because I didn't flush the rad. But the lower rad hose, as soon as I parked it, blew off the car. Like the hose is fine, but yeah, it's just with the pressure or with an air bubble or something did that. So tomorrow I'm gonna flush the rad out and then go from there and see what happens. So hopefully flushing the rad will do the trick. If not, then I'll have to look into pulling the heads and replacing the head gaskets. So awesome. He's leaving.
Yep.
Sadness. That's okay. But yeah, so that's basically where I'm at right now for that escapade of that frick car. And the thing is, if I have to pull the heads off the car, I'm not going to do it here. I'm going to get it to my buddy Keith's place, which is where the Civic is currently, and we'll just work on it there because he has a nice warm shop. He's got air tools and stuff like that. It'll just be much more convenient.
Plus, you probably got tables and places to lay stuff out nice and neatly.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have many tables that are free right now, but yeah,
That's okay.
It's
you can make
he's got
them
a
free.
proper workspace. I don't.
You can make them free.
So, yeah, and plus, with it being on a shop like that, like even though his shop is dirty, whatever else, but it's cleaner than what I'd be doing outside.
Yeah.
So less issues of contamination happening in the motor. Especially if something like the one thing is doing it there, I don't actually pull the head off of a car. I know it's fairly easy to do. It just pulls 5 consuming, that's all. And yeah, do that because I know actually the intake gasket. I have a new one, obviously. I have to pull that because it sticks out like a full inch, both on the front and back of it. So it's like I'm wondering because I don't think the intake would be blocking any coolant passages. I
Yeah,
don't think
there can be coolant passages that run through the intake.
Yeah, I'd have to make sure, and it might just be that, to be honest, it's blocking things because I don't know for sure, right?
Chevys
yeah,
have
like,
well, obviously the Chevys, your thermostat is in the intake on a Chevy. I don't know about a Ford, but on the Chevys, there's a coolant passage that runs in the front of the intake, that runs across the front of the intake, and that is where the thermostat goes into.
Oh, and see, on the 302s, it's on the block itself. It's not actually on the intake.
Yeah.
So
I do not have a well verse in small block Fords.
So to be honest, I'm just learning to because until getting this car, I didn't know much about small block Fords at all, and I'm still learning. So it's fine.
I pulled the head off of my '89 Cherokee inline 6 in the middle of a snowstorm on a concrete pad. Swapped all of the valve stem seals. So in other words, I had to completely disassemble the head, pop all the keepers off and replace all the valve stem seals in that head on my back porch. Now the back porch was, I don't know, 1.5 2 feet off of the ground. So it was level at the back of my house, but then it dropped down to the ground, whatever. So, but we used my back porch as a workbench, which was a good 20-30 feet from the vehicle that we were working on. And this was at like 9-10 o'clock at night. It's snowing because I had to be at work the next day, and that was my vehicle to work. So it was we need to get this fixed because I had to do all the valve stem seals. I had to do all the valve stem seals. Plus, I had to do the rear main seal. For the last main cap
Yeah.
while it was in the vehicle. And this is a 4-wheel drive Jeep, Cherokee. Yeah, Cherokee. So that was fun trying to drop the pan enough to be able to get to that, without having to drop the whole front axle. Um, and all of that stuff. I think I also had to replace the alternator that night too, all to be able to get to work the next day. Did it in the middle of
Yeah,
the freaking night.
yeah, that's a lot. Like, for don't get me wrong, it's not like we haven't every single time I go to Roy's, we're always cutting it on time. Pretty close. Um, because like the last time I went up to Roy's place was actually just this past week. Um, when I went when I went to go to my buddy Keith's place to go work on the Civic, I actually stopped by Roy's first because he had a couple of parts for me that he just picked them up and I was just gonna pay for. And then also we wanted to see if we could swap out the carburetor, right? Because I had that new carburetor, but there's something not quite right about it. Like, could never really get it dialed in properly. Um, and so okay, get this. He's got this nice Autolite 2100 actually. That needed a little bit of cleanup. It wasn't too bad. Out of a 66 Fairlane with a 289. That's what it came out of. And, nice 2-barrel. Cool. The problem was, okay, getting the electric choke off of mine onto it and doing the linkages and stuff like that, we had to piece together 3 different carburetors to make this work.
I'm amazed you got it to
Like,
work.
yeah. Oh, it runs beautifully now. It has no issues.
It's a
Although,
smaller
interestingly,
Is it a smaller CFM carb?
see, I don't know what the Venturi is. I'll have to check the tech. But to be honest, before it wasn't that big of a carb. I had it was a 375 2-barrel before, which is fine for that motor. People run them all the time and they don't have any issues. Just for whatever reason, that carb did not like me. So I'd have to check to see what Venturi is, and then I can figure out what size it is. Because the motocross is very easy to figure out. Whatever the Venturi size is will tell you how much CFM is. So, yeah, because I'd have to decode the tag. That's all.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. Call me a bad girl? Really?
Because you were gambling too fast.
Yeah, I have my timing off, okay?
Yeah,
Slightly.
you got a problem. You
No, I
might
don't.
need to call that hotline that I hear on the radio all the time. Get
No,
you some
no,
help.
no, I'm fine, thanks.
Sure,
You know?
you don't need an intervention.
Maybe for cars, but not for this.
I think we're all guilty of that one.
Let's be honest here. Like, and I always think because and it's interesting actually, because at that same auction that I did that little video that I told you about actually before the live stream, I did a quick little auction walk around video of just 4 cars at this auction that they just hadn't been picked up yet, right? So I filmed them. So I didn't open the hoods and I didn't open the doors because these cars are already sold. These are somebody else's vehicles at this point. So I'm not going to do that, right?
Yep.
Even though they were unlocked and everything still, because again, it was an auction. It's interesting because that auction right now, the international that was in that, turns out, who knows what happened, but basically it got thrown back into the auction again. It's a international R180 with a tilt deck on the back. That's pretty cool, actually. Old 50s one with the 2-piece wheels and stuff like that that want to kill you and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's actually in pretty good shape. It is rusty, but not bad, to be honest. I've seen a lot worse. I've sold a lot worse. And the thing supposedly runs. And I had the idea of just like, if this thing goes cheap enough, it'd be really cool to roadkill at home. Bear in mind, when you're able to actually do highway speeds, it takes about 2 hours to get there. So I mean, it probably takes 5 hours to get it back.
It's gonna take you 6 hours to get home.
It'd be worth it though.
If you don't get 2 hours into the trip and end up side of the road.
Yeah, there's that. It'd be cool though to do like a whole sort of roadkill thing and try to get home, right? I just wanted to do that. Never have.
I think Vice Grip Garage has completely freaking taken over that whole genre.
Well, I mean, Roadkill doesn't really do that as much anymore. So there's
Yeah,
that.
I don't I think that Derek has done it way better than Roadkill did,
Eh,
personally. By the way,
sure. I mean,
he
this.
did very well on that Sick Week tour with he took the Independent Chevelle, and he had a Monte Carlo that he also revived, that he did up like an old school stock car, and he took them both down for the Sick Week drag and drive. That was pretty cool. There was a couple
I mean,
Novas, like fourth gen Novas, that I kept spotting in the background of different people's freaking shots, and I don't know who the hell they were, but it's kind of like I wanted to know.
um, yeah, cause like, and unfortunately, something that isn't gonna happen this year for me, unless I find somebody to tag along with, I won't be participating though. Is because we have our own version of like that or Drag Week here, and it's called Miles of Mayhem. Unfortunately, I missed the cutoff to actually sign up for it. They actually sold out their tickets pretty quick, but they only have 160 slots, so it doesn't take long.
Yeah, I think Sick Week had over 300 and some freaking participants.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and the one thing is like I don't think 160. I know why they did that because the one of the tracks that they go to this is all eighth mile. Um, and the thing is the one track at I can't remember where it is, but anyways, it doesn't have a proper return lane, so you actually have to drive down the drag strip to get back,
Oh, that sucks.
which slows a lot of things down
Majorly.
that way. Yeah, so I can understand why they only have 160 slots just because of that track. Like, what I don't get is like, why wouldn't you just say no to that track and just do 2 days of one track? Okay,
That's what they
I
did
don't
at
think
Sick
anybody would
Week.
be upset about that.
They started in Cletus's track and ended at Cletus's home track.
And there you go. See, that's a good way to do it. Like, I know they do two tracks because like there's a test and tune because they start out in Medicine Hat. I think they go out to Saskatchewan and then they come up to I think it's called Black Forest or something like that, where that one weird track is like that. And they end up in Rimby, which is actually about an hour from me, so it would have been perfect to do that trip, but no, that's fine.
Yeah,
And I wanted to take actually Lilo on that. It would be really fun, my convertible.
oh,
So,
once you fix her
but
coolant issues.
yeah, it still be fixed by that.
Um, from what I heard, there's like 7 or 8 of those events this year alone in the United States. Now, I always only knew of Drag Week and then Rocky Mountain Race Week,
Yeah,
and then I knew then Sick Week started this year. But apparently that means that there's 4 other ones apparently this year.
yeah. Well, I can understand why. I mean, you haven't really been able to do much for a couple of years now, so why not open all these up and have fun?
Yeah. Tom Bailey hosted this one. He was out after the first day. He never made it to the first checkpoint, I don't think. After the racing, he something went in his motor. He ended up in the next to somebody's field.
Oof.
So he had to, and then his son had a bad rollover the very last day in a station wagon. Right at the end of the track, I don't know, car did a violent right hand turn, flipped over onto its lid, slammed into the wall. Kid's okay. Well, he's not
That's
technically
good.
a kid. He is Tom's kid, but he's not technically a kid. He's like in his 20s.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
but there was some exciting racing.
yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, those types of races are cool. Like when you're taking, you know, like a lot of these cars are barely street legal, and you know,
Street legal's a very loose term.
yeah, it is. well, it's and it's interesting because like following. I don't follow drag week that closely, but following what I have, the cars that actually drive to the track, well, once they do, they disassemble like half the car to put it into race
Oh yeah,
prep mode.
depending on the
Like
car,
it's
yeah.
yeah, it's just like holy crap. Well, even I know that I think it was Larry Larson when he had the Sonoma, right?
Yeah.
Um, he had to do that. He had to change out the front clip every single time and a few other things.
Well, you think about
Um,
but the thing is everything that they switch over either has to fit inside the vehicle or in the biggest they can have is a small trailer that they can tow behind. They're not
oh
allowed to
yeah,
have a they're not allowed to have a support vehicle. So it's whatever they can carry themselves and fit
yeah, oh
into a
yeah,
specific size trailer.
yeah,
So
oh for sure. Yeah, it's cool. And for the Miles of Mayhem event here, it's the same thing. Like it's the almost identical rules to Dragon, to be honest. Um, although it doesn't quite go for a week. I think it's 6 days, but yeah,
I think
it's
most of these are
in
6 days
August,
too.
and it would have been so much fun to do that. But the problem is, because for me to know that I could do that, I probably need about 2 grand put away to do this whole thing.
Well, yeah, between fuel
Just
and not to mention the stockpile of what the fuck do I break?
yeah.
Because
Oh,
you
for sure.
you got to think
Like,
ahead of
uh,
what could possibly go wrong, and if it does go wrong, is it something I can buy in a freaking store, or is it something that I gotta have already on me?
yeah. Oh, and the nice part about my cars is it doesn't matter which one I take, it's not so bad. There isn't so much custom crap on them yet. So, like, stitching them done, oh yeah, you're not gonna buy some of those parts at a store. You have to custom fab this stuff. Like, because I've been talking with Roy about some stuff, and what we might do, and it'll be very exciting. I'm not going to unveil any of that yet, but nice teaser of something really cool might happen with that little motor this summer.
Cool, cool.
Yeah,
I'd like
oh
to
yeah,
do
it'll be
a
great.
I'd like to do either a cruise week or something like that with a Trans Am when I get it going. I don't know if
Oh
I'd
yeah,
want to go drag racing with it, but you never know.
it'd be fun. Like the one thing is, I want to, because I do want to see like with Lilo before I do any proper like drag racing. I do need to swap out that rear end for sure. And it's not that the gear ratios, because I'm not really going to change out the gear ratios. It's just it has the 7.5 rear end, which is okay. But once you start beating on it, they like to blow themselves up. So swap with an 8.8 and it'll be just fine.
Yeah.
But and I'm actually in talks with a friend of mine because he has a 95 SN95 Mustang that would actually work great if I wanted to 5-lug swap that car. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
So I don't think that the TA will go anything faster than like a 14 or a 15 anyway.
But I mean, even like yeah, Lilo, my convertible, I was aiming for like 15 if I was gonna do this in a quarter mile, like 1560. So it's really not that fast. Just because it's a convertible, right? So aero is not on its side because of that, even with the top up. So and it's fine. And also the weight's not on its side either, because again, convertible. But
Throw a brick into the wind.
yeah, and it's fine. Just have some fun with it. Like something that I want to do, and that'll probably happen this year, to be honest. Is a friend of mine has it's a homemade pipe bender, but it's a pipe bender that he's passed tech at Cashel Raceway, which do have NHRA events, so it works. I want to put a roll bar in Lilo, just not one that like connects to the front or anything, just a nice little roll bar in the back, painted white to match the body. You know, it's almost like a crash bar, right? That like the
You still have to have at
a lot of
least.
Mercedes and stuff like that would have them, except for this would be like a proper roll bar.
You
So
just talk about one hoop or a hoop and a brace.
just one hoop, to be honest, because I still want to use the car,
Well,
like
I think you'd
because people
still
in the
at
back
least.
seat and stuff like
I
that.
think you'd still at least have to have something coming down to a second point onto the frame. Otherwise, as soon as you roll over, it's just going to bend and it's going to be useless.
Uh, well, the only way to do it, and like to be honest, when we did like if we did this or when we're gonna do this, we'd be making subframe connectors as well that would connect into it, so it wouldn't be as bad for that. But yeah, it's the one thing is like I don't plan on rolling my car. It's just something that'll look cool and it will provide a little more rigidity to a convertible.
Yeah.
So
I don't think anybody plan. I don't think what's his name's kid planned on rolling his car last night.
that's true, but I'm sure his car's a lot faster than mine.
He was going 167 miles an hour when he flipped.
Yeah, that car. I don't think we'll ever reach those speeds. That's fine. Like I mean, I've gone. It was 178 kilometers an hour in Stitch, which is like 100, I think, 10, 111, something like that miles an hour. That's the fastest I've ever gone in my own cars so far. So, and that's just on an open stretch of highway and just yeah, that's
Fastest I've
fun.
ever gone in my own vehicle, I think, is 137.
See, I've gone faster in other people's vehicles, but
Oh
not
yeah,
my
so
own.
have I. I've gone 160
Yeah, it's fast.
in a
Like I
ZL
know.
in a ZL1.
See, the fastest I've ever driven myself. Let's see. What was that? Because I think it was one. Yeah, it was 185 kilometers to miles per hour. Why do you do this, you stupid freaking thing? Um. Okay, yeah, I went to 104 or 115 in my buddy's Mustang. We were just playing on the highway because I we went to a big event actually. I didn't have my car to it. I just borrowed it his daily driver, and which is just a V6 Mustang. It's got a couple of mods to
It's
it, but
a newer
nothing.
Mustang, right?
Yeah, it's a 90 or it's 2001.
The fastest I've gone before the ZL1 uh was in a 90, no, 89 or 93. I don't know. It was a Mustang convertible LX 302 and it was 150.
That'd be sketch
Oh, it was fucking sketchy.
because it's sketch enough in a Fox body. It's not a convertible.
I-95 south between Philly and Jersey. We did
Yeah,
150. It was the manual transmission car. So
that helps
V8
with gear
manual.
ratios and stuff.
Yeah, V8
Yeah,
manual car. It was maroon with a white top, and it even had the freaking grandma rack on the back.
nice. So it's like mine, except for mine's not a manual and mine's not red. But although yours is a little later, but or at least that one you drove is a little later than mine.
Yeah, I don't know if
But
I forget whether it was an 89 or a 93. I keep forgetting.
they didn't change at all between those years. Like 87 and 93, they really didn't change at all. So um, it's when they were four eyes. They kept changing every couple of years, but once they went to the arrow design, they didn't change it.
Yeah,
Only because like the thing is, they were planning on well when the Ford Probe came out, I think that was 88. That was supposed to be the Mustang, and they kind of went back and went, oh okay. So that's why they put the arrow front ends on the Fox bodies actually, because that wasn't they weren't intending to do that. And then that's why actually the SN95 Mustang came out as well, because again, the Probe was supposed to replace the Fox body, and it never did. Um, and they kept the SN95 for a long time, which is basically just a modified Fox body, anyways.
yeah.
Underneath, like they feel very similar to each other. The only thing is, the new Edge's SN95s they're a lot more stable, but they're not the same.
Yeah. Uh, Pilot says he got a ticket in his Corvette going 47 and a 40. I've only ever really gotten one. No, I lie. Two speeding tickets. The rest of them were all just failure to yield traffic control devices.
See, for me, yeah, I haven't gotten any tickets yet. any period. So
Now,
I've gotten a warning from a cop. That's it.
I have gotten plenty of getting pulled over for speeding, but my tickets were mostly always failure to yield to traffic control device, being the speed limit sign. Um, but yeah, it wasn't until recently Pennsylvania passed a law that prohibited cops from being able to write a that type of ticket for speeding,
Okay.
because it wasn't points, it was just a fine, whereas a speeding ticket is points. My last speeding ticket was the day I lost my job. It was just me not paying attention and being upset. I wasn't even enjoying speeding.
What happened?
I was just
Sadly.
following the
Um.
car in front of me, who was apparently also speeding.
Nice. Yeah. The one thing is because like with my car, and the interesting part is actually is just because of the elevation difference between here and Edmonton. Even though Edmonton's way farther north, sea level wise, they're much lower than here. And the thing is, when I left my buddy's house, um, now the tires may have been a little wet, not gonna lie, but I tried to launch the car, like you know, stitch my with the inline six in it. It's doing a burnout. I'm like, what? This car doing a burnout?
The
What
V8,
the hell?
the V8.
No, this is an inline six. I was confused. I was just like, why is this thing doing a burnout? It's never been able to do a burnout before. Now, I just chopped it up to tires are probably quite wet because there was just a bunch of ice before this, like 20 minutes
Cold
before.
and wet. Yeah,
But
that might do it.
it might. I mean, we'll see. I'll have to go back up there when it's not and see if it'll do it.
Yeah.
Because if so, I need to get a dyno run done there and a dyno run done here and see what the difference is in
It could
power.
be different pressures. But all right,
Yeah.
we're gonna wrap this show up here today. Like I said, I wasn't feeling very good when we started the show. Um, it's about 10 o'clock now, so I'll catch you guys next week. Hopefully, we can do a longer show next week, and I feel a lot better. But I didn't want to leave you guys without a show this week and disappoint you guys. So, hope you guys have a good week. Say your goodbyes, Kat.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming out, and yeah, to our illustrious host here. Hope he feels better soon, and yeah. Ciao.
All right, thanks for everything, guys.